Good afternoon from London. It's another beautiful sunny day, noisy as London usually is, but beautiful. People are everywhere, out about, eating, drinking, joking, laughing. Most of them not questioning at all life, not even wondering the meaning of life. Many does, but many doesn't. And they should. So the story today, it happened yesterday. It was a bit of a interesting day. I went to see someone, let's make it in this way, and that's where everything started. And this someone name was Rose. We met, spent some time together, and then when I left, some of those dating apps that I'm using, so I'm single again. I matched with someone, and I got to check who she was, and guess what? Her name was Rose. Not the same person, but just the same name. That was already make me questioning what the meaning of that. Lately I'm trying harder to really get back on track spiritually, really focusing all my energy in the present moment. And as I know, every time I do, and I'm able to hold it for a while, it's like my spiritual battery recharge slowly. And when I started to experience those extraordinary events, like as I say extraordinary just because it doesn't happen all the time, but I believe that all of us could be able to have it. So I thought that it could be because my spiritual battery was charging, and that was a sign of that. And it's kind of like make me feel good at the same time. I won't deny that did make me feel good. So I keep wandering around, waiting for a friend that I was supposed to meet at 4 o'clock. That was late, so I took advantage and started just walk around without plan, just wandering around Soho. When walking in a little narrow street, a guy, it's like a Sikh. I don't know if you're familiar. Is a set, an Indian set. It's called Sikh. And he look at me, he say something, so it drew my attention, and curious, like what's happening, and then he started pointing his forefront, in the middle of his forefront, and he tells me like your third eye. So it's obviously that really made me curious, because like what can make you more curious than someone telling you about your third eye, especially when you are in that journey and you just were wondering about your spirituality and the synchronicity that you just experienced. So obviously I stopped, and then he started to go, and he started to tell me about my third eye that I'm trying to open. Like he started to tell me about how I'm trying to open my third eye, and that my thoughts are light, and that I'm filled with positivity to keep going on that path. And even if he knows that I'm thinking a lot, I can't stop thinking. I think way too much. So I just like listen, really curious, no expectation, nothing. Like I mean, they're just full of charlatans. We know that, but it was interesting. I mean, it's the first time that like someone like a Sikh, especially a Sikh, they're very like. I mean, like I want to say reserved because obviously I don't know their religion well enough to say anything. But I never had any really experiences. The only time I had actually a sort of conversation with one of them was in Edinburgh, and they was just the owner of a shop where I needed to return packages, and but that's it. So that's why obviously was even more, I would say, interesting this encounter, because like, okay, what he has to say, and I keep going on and saying that, oh, you keep thinking, and but you need to understand that now I can't now some parts I forgot, but I think something regarding the present moment, that I'm on the right path. I can't now really sure understand about this, but definitely he was saying that he was keep pointing my third eye. He was keep telling me that it was filled with good intention and positivity, and that everything was a good sign. Then he started to ask me questions, like that I don't remember, but I remember the next questions, but that he asked after he gave me a piece of paper and he told me to put in my pocket. And then he asked me things about my family, how many of you, and I said me and my brother too. How many if your mom's side, they said two, so my mom and their sister. How many in your family, included your mom, so three. Which is your favorite colors? You say yellow, and then they say, oh, tell me another color as well, blue. And after all of this, he tells me, then he started to tell me like, the 2020 was a very challenging for you, but and the 2021 as well, but 2022 will be your best year. Things will unfold. They will be successful. You will be happy, and you will get what you want and looking for. He tells me but from July to September, don't travel. And then he tells me to take the paper, and then on the paper there was blue, and then a 2 and 3. So he points out how, the numbers and the colors was what he say I mentioned. So now I'm not here to say if what was going on with him, what he said was genuine or not. We honestly, we can say everything, we can find an explanation for everything, how things unfolded, but there's not the point. The point was like how after that meeting with that woman, and then the girls showing up on my app, dating app with the same name, and then the thoughts about my spirituality and if I'm actually heading in the right direction, that what I felt, and then I met him. So I wouldn't say for me it wasn't him, if he was genuine or a charlatan, but was just for me like a sort of like confirmation, a sign that I'm actually on the right track, on the right path. So he gave me like a drive through it with a hole inside that he told me to put around my neck as a necklace, and then he showed me his guru, his diciamo, like other like I would say disciples of his sect, and he said something about his temple, and then he asked me for a donation. So I didn't have any cash, and he asked me to go to an ATM next where we met. So I was, like, I mean, I just, I didn't feel like to trust him completely. So I said, look, I'm gonna give you a donation, and that was true. I was going to give it to him. Wait me here. I will find an ATM, and then I give you a donation. And I've been searching, and I couldn't find. And then when I found it, I couldn't withdraw because I set the limit to a certain amount of money that I already withdrew. And then when finally I was able to change it and withdraw the money that I was going to give as a donation, it was gone. He was gone, he wasn't there. I searched for him around, nothing. I couldn't find him until my friend arrived. So I have to go. So for me, it's a sign. It was a sign that thing is, yes, a sign that I would say, let's call it a spiritual battery is recharging, and the effort to stay in the present moment, trying to avoid any thoughts about all that it doesn't benefit my greater good. Trying to avoid things start to, like showing. Just start to showing the results. So that basically translated would be like I'm on the right life path. That's what I like. I really like to believe. But regarding if I'm right or wrong, regarding if like I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It was beautiful. I mean, I honestly, I really enjoy all that, like meeting the guy. It was like an adventure on its own, even if nothing of that has nothing to do with what I think it is, even if it's nothing to do with my spirituality or anything. It was already a beautiful adventure that I enjoyed, and I enjoy to share. So I hope you enjoyed as well, and I wish you a great day. Just heading to meet some friends now. That is late, and I took advantage to share the story. Have a good evening, guys and girls.